Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. As I already said, I made the choice not only because it made sense from a financial point of view, but also because I wanted to make a statement. I don't even want $1 right now because I don't agree with how they're being managed. I don't agree with what they stand for or how they see the future. That was January 1. As I already said, if Bitcoin is average, say 50 to 100% year over year against the dollar, then every year everything around you is half off. Everything around you is about half off year over year if you live on Bitcoin. It's half price on your dream house, your food, and your gas. That's why it's a great way to save time and energy. At the start of the year, in a post on the social media site X, Strike's founder and CEO Jack Mallers said he no longer owned US dollars and was all in on Bitcoin. In a thread that has almost 1 million views and over 12,000 likes, Jack said that he decided to put all of his money into Bitcoin when he realized that central banks would never stop debasing fiat currencies like the dollar. The people would have to pay for all of the extra money printing and spending through a huge inflation tax. This is the last US dollar I own. The CEO of the strike wrote, "Not a single penny. As a young American, I love my country, but I don't like our money. If Bitcoin goes down, I'm all in, and my sales will either go up or down with the ship. I think now more than ever, it's important to say what you think." The United States gave up the gold standard in 1971 and became the world's main currency issuer. After the end of the industrial age, it became an economic wasteland. Printing more money has led to hyper-financialization, hyper-asset inflation, and a grumpy people. Since the US is devaluing its currency, people have to store their money in things like real estate and stocks. This makes the prices of these things go up. This is also known as asset inflation. As a result, a huge difference in wealth. People who own things get richer when you print money, while people who can't afford things get poorer. Inequality in wealth has gotten even worse over the last few years, especially since the government printed so much money to fight the plague. Some 1% of people in the world were thought to have only 20% of the world's wealth in the early 1970s. That number had shot through the roof to over 50% by 2020. Oxfam, a global charity that fights poverty, put out a study last year that showed that $22 trillion in new wealth has been made since 2020. 2/5 of the new wealth, $26 trillion, went to the richest 1% of people in the world. The other 99% got only $16 trillion. No one really knows how much of that $16 trillion got to the middle class. Mallers said in his posts that the story is pretty much the same in the US. As of 2021, the richest 10% of Americans own 70% of all US net worth. This made a huge number of people very angry. "Also, our money is making us fight," he said. Mallers recently did an interview with Daniela Cambone on the ITM Trading YouTube channel. In it, she talks about her decision to put all of her money into Bitcoin, the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and how Bitcoin is different from other investments like gold. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post alerts so you can see more videos like this as we bring them to you. Thanks, and have fun with the movie. Fed now, so you can take your money in real time, and you can also get your paychecks in Bitcoin through direct deposit. Everything I get paid in Bitcoin goes into my Strike account. Once a month when I need to pay bills, I convert the Bitcoin to dollars and do it right away. In a way, I'm just using Strike as a Bitcoin checking account. I also think it makes a lot of sense. To begin, living within your means is the best way to reach this goal. It's not a big deal if you spend less than you earn. You could lose so much value because of Bitcoin, and you probably have costs that are higher than that amount, right? You don't have enough money to pay your bills if Bitcoin suddenly drops 80%. As an adult, that's the risk you need to figure out. However, I believe it is perfectly fine to save the money that goes up the most and take the money that goes down the most, as long as you don't spend more than you earn and have some extra money set aside to cover costs in case something major happens. I've done really well. I think I made this choice around January 1st of this year. Bitcoin is now worth about $30,000 or something, so everything around me is now at least half price. It's wonderful to live this way. There is no one longer than me in the world. It's my business, my investments, and everything else about me is long Bitcoin. It makes me feel like I have nothing to do if Bitcoin goes away. That's how long I am. But I chose to say, I don't even want $1 right now because I don't agree with the way they're being managed, not just because it made financial sense, as I just said, but also because I wanted to make a point. I don't agree with what they stand for or how they see the future. That was January 1. As I already said, If Bitcoin is average, say 50 to 100% year over year against the dollar, then every year everything around you is half off. Share some information with me about how you handle the ups and downs that come with having all of your money in Bitcoin. Well, life is full of change. It's good for things to be volatile. First, what would you do if you walked into a building and I told you, you have to get to the top floor, and there was no volatility? How would you get there? You will always be in the lobby. In the same way that no one has been taught about buying power, we've all been led to believe that volatility is bad. It's normal to be volatile. In our world, entropy stays the same. So it's normal for prices to change. You can expect volatility, and volatility is growth. So I encourage and invite instability in terms of how I handle my money. I think you like to spend little time and that living within your means is another way to make money, right? Like Strike is a business that makes money. The world gives us more than it takes from us. That's how I see it. As a person, you should give more to the world than you take from it. In this way, you can save and earn. After that, it's very easy. Jack wrote in his post that getting out of the US dollar means speaking out against wars that aren't needed, asset inflation that only helps the rich, and living in a society that is sad, angry, and in debt. He also said that Bitcoin was his choice because it best shows how traditional currencies are losing value. Instead of creating money without thinking, Bitcoin has a set amount that can never be increased. Jack also said that Bitcoin stands for freedom of choice, equal chance, a free market economy, new ideas, and progress. These are all ideas that the United States was founded on. Let's look at the numbers as written in one of the last posts in the thread. If you save money in dollars, living costs have gone up 60% in the last 5 years. It cost 59% more to buy oil. It cost 29% more to buy food. However, homes got 81% cheaper if you saved in Bitcoin. 79% less oil was sold. It cost 83% less to eat. He talked to Daniela about spot Bitcoin ETFs, the risks of control, and why Bitcoin is still the world's hardest asset, unlike gold. Here are some more interview clips. Unfortunately, I think gold concentrates. We can talk about the Bitcoin gold issue later, but this is just a bad thing about gold itself. Bitcoin is different. In fact, the amount of real Bitcoin on exchanges is at an all-time low right now, which means that people are keeping them. Technological progress has made it possible for me to put a Bitcoin in my head. It doesn't work to put a gold bar in my brain through my mouth or ear. If Bitcoin prices rise, I don't think it will be nearly as dangerous as it was when gold prices rose. Satoshi put it on an email list and then left, which is another reason why I think it's already been spread so well by people. There would have been more of them if Satoshi had taken it to Goldman Sachs and put it on a public market, but he didn't. From that point of view, I don't see it as a risk because I don't think someone like BlackRock or Michael Saylor could get a stock big enough to concentrate Bitcoin. In the sense that it's still a financial tool in the old school financial system, I do see it as a risk. Bitcoin does not belong to you. You own the security that Larry Fink made that stands for Bitcoin. I believe those are two very different assets, and by choosing the ETF over Bitcoin, you're giving up a lot of the benefits of having Bitcoin. I believe those who choose to own an ETF instead of Bitcoin are taking a chance, but they may have thought about the pros and cons and decided that the pros outweigh the cons for them. On the internet, I think it's great for the business world that